Interview, Part 4. I think putting that together with what we were discussing earlier about choosing a meaning that is useful for each of us can be even more effective for anyone trying to get away from the negative associations with your name. Can you share any ideas or maybe other stories that can help guide our listeners on how to choose a more useful meaning?
Yes, let's talk about stories a bit. If you were to agree that words are made up, that their meanings are set by others from their own unique perspective, perhaps it was helpful for them in their case, in their conditions, circumstances, and context, in their world. Just because you had been ignoring it was someone else's world does not mean it wasn't active and alive in your head. Their meaning may have slipped into your mind and hijacked your voice. Then, whose voice was behind the self-talk you thought was yours? Listen, there's no need to blame others. Assume they had positive intent, perhaps to protect you from external influences. Now, it's time to shift. Think back how you interpreted my name. What was your context? Under what circumstances did you integrate the meaning into your life? What were you feeling, seeing, hearing? What story did you tell yourself then? What details did you leave out? You are not just one story. It's time to edit, find more choices, different meanings, different worlds. Get unstuck and move forward. Those old stories with the old meanings may have been useful to you in the past, but what if those old meanings have become obsolete?
Cool. I think I get it. You're suggesting that if someone is not authoring their own story, maybe they're letting someone else author it for them. And once we grasp this, we can start editing our own story, one that better suits us. I guess this is where choosing meanings deliberately really counts. This is what I've learned over the years. As humans, we act based on how we think, and we think based on how we see. But we see based on what we believe to be true. And primarily, we believe based on what we repeat to ourselves in our heads over and over. Communication is such a hot topic, mainly because we are still learning how to communicate with others. And when we need to get things done, we first have to communicate. What has to get done? With whom? By when? In that sense, we can say that communication precedes, or rather precedes, action. In other words, the seed for getting things done lies silently inside communication. Since we also communicate with ourselves, and words, or rather their meanings, weigh heavily on this process, we can improve how we communicate with ourselves and influence how we take the first step. The voice in our heads uses words that seed the conditions by which we will act in the physical world. These words tell us what we will do, how we will do it, when we will do it. Maybe we can reflect on the words and meanings we choose when we talk to ourselves and how they influence our actions and our progress. When we realize that words create doubt and confusion about the what, the how, the when, we have a choice. So we should strive to nurture this seed that precedes our actions to be useful and not work against us.
Nice addition, Robin. Words precede action. It's like you plant a seed that builds your world with words, and then those words shape your world. The good thing is you don't have to follow conventions, especially if they are no longer helping you. Like in the story of little David and giant Goliath. How could David have won the battle? I suspect David was one of the first language rebels. He was young and had learned how to win by breaking made-up rules and conventions. While old Goliath had everyone thinking the only way to fight was with a sword, David chose his own tool, one that was useful to him, a slingshot. What if you could win by breaking a convention of words? By choosing your own meaning of a word? Swords or words? Why not choose a meaning about my name that will give you an edge?
Wow, that is a cool way of seeing a story from the Bible.
Yes, I think it might help your listeners. Now, how about we make it personal to you, Robin? Would it be okay to talk a bit about what you do? Together, we might come up with other ideas to guide others.
Sure. What do you have in mind?
Well, when we first spoke about the interview, you told me that we would just get on a virtual call and you would be recording this and then you would edit the recording before making it public. So, I assume sometimes you edit parts of an interview out?
Yes, that is right. I can go into the video and cut parts out or add things to make the video look better. For this interview, for example, we will just chat, and if anything is not needed, or if you want me to edit out something of the interview, I can do that. Another thing is, when I produce an online class, these are filmed and produced as videos. I have to write out a script for each lesson, and then I shoot each lesson in front of a camera. After I finish shooting all the lessons, then I go in to edit.
How do you keep track of each lesson? When you're watching each lesson, how do you know where you might have to add or cut out part of the video?
Good question. Something that helps a lot is what they call a clapper board. That board that we see on TV where someone says, take 1, take 3, take 10. On a film set, you'll hear rolling, sound, slate, action. The slate is another way they call the clapper. Each take is numbered on the clapper board and filmed at the beginning of the take, which then helps find the specific location on a video that can be cut out or edited to add titles, sound, or other things.
I have seen those clapper boards. I love it when they say the take number and the sound it makes when they snap it closed. Scene 4, take 12, and roll. I'm thinking that each time the clapper claps is a take that sometimes has to be repeated because something was not 100%. I assume that since humans are involved, there are problems with the lighting, background noise, or when you're reading a script and pronounced a word wrong or missed a word or didn't smile enough. Think about it. You could refer to any take that is not 100% as a missed take. You know that there will always be a chance to make another take until it's right. Do you see how this can apply to our conversation about my name? Instead of thinking about a big, fatalistic, end-of-the-world idea, it can be a missed take or simply a mistake.
Hey, I've been doing this for a long time and never associated my clapperboard with mistakes. Thank you for this idea. Now that you mention it, I guess whoever invented this device had a lot of situations with missed takes and decided to keep track and number them somehow. Makes it easy to refer back to take 1 or take 6 and learn something about the lighting, the sound, how the actor looked, or any other detail that seemed off. The loud clack sound can be a good reminder for all of us that each action is just a take, that we have the power to pause and a chance to edit and get many do-overs before we're happy with the result.
Sounds like you have lots of fun, Robin, when shooting your videos. Because you knew that any missed takes could be fixed, it didn't seem to worry you a lot. Maybe just a small frustration or disappointment that things were going to take a bit more time than planned. That is an attitude. Don't you think the clapper opened a space, a way to pause and control how you reacted to a mistake?
That is true. And I must say that it's important to consider that when I film, there are so many variables: the equipment, the room noise, the natural lights from the sun, people's skills and emotions, and so many more that I cannot control. By the way, we sometimes use the actual footage of some bad takes to watch and laugh. As we learn, we refer to these as bloopers. Maybe we can use the idea and add a new F word, Floopers.
That's funny. Maybe it will be added beside my name one day. I was thinking of another idea about the invention of the clapper. You could use it to set the idea that perfection does not exist. One of the issues people have with my name is that they somehow believe perfection exists. That belief, then, is what they compare their actions with, which in turn drives disappointment and fear. Believing in perfection helps create a false expectation that things are linear, when in reality, life is curvy. Such false beliefs help set you up for disappointment by associating your actions with my name. By realizing that perfection is an illusion, it can help transform the belief of perfection into a more useful idea that can help people become less afraid. If, as they say, change is a constant, how can perfection survive? Each loud clack of the clapper means you're moving one step in the right direction.
That's very good. We need to keep on moving because even though there is a final cut to produce the show, we always find something we could improve on for the next episode. Experience is merely the name men gave to their mistakes. Oscar Wilde.